New polling by ABC Ipsos shows that Kamala Harris is doing better and better in the polling against Donald Trump. Of course, she is now the presumptive Democratic nominee. And so why don't we begin with how her approval or her favorability is doing now compared to not too long ago.
Harris is, yeah, she was the VP, but now she's at the top of the ticket, and I think opinions of her are moving rather fast. So this is the net favorability ratings. This is from an ABC News Ipsos poll that literally dropped just within the last 24 hours. I'm going to be interested if other polls follow. So this is net favorability. It's favorable minus unfavorable. Look at this. A week ago, she was at minus 11 points. Look at this. She's jumped all the way up to plus 1 point. Trump has actually dropped a little bit from minus 11 to minus 16, but that movement isn't so wide compared to this 12-point movement. And I think the real question is, will this stick in other polling? Because Democrats absolutely love this, and it gets back to Steve's point that opinions on Harris, I think, are much more malleable than they were for Joe Biden, where you just had that consistently negative rating. Here, this is the first time I've seen a politician running for national office with a net positive rating. I don't know since when. I mean, it's something unforeseen, at least over the last 4 years.
So I do think that's a pretty big deal, and we might still be in the honeymoon phase with Kamala Harris. And what's also helping her, in my opinion, is how the Trump side of things is kind of fumbling in their response to Kamala Harris as now the presumptive Democratic nominee. The JD Vance statements that are now coming back up from 2021, where he said some pretty terrible things about women who don't have children, is definitely also helping Kamala Harris. But what do you think, Cenk? Do you think things can reverse back to where they were, or do you think Kamala Harris's momentum will continue?
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it. No, they could definitely reverse. But let's talk about where we are today. So I wish I'd annoyed the producers by asking them to pull up a clip of me saying Kamala Harris's numbers will go way up. Don't listen to the numbers that show her net favorability down, et cetera, that I said about a week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that happened, must have been a week. So the reason why I said that was, number one, they don't really know her enough. They know who she is, they know she's the vice president, but what does anybody know about Kamala Harris? They knew the word salads a little bit because she got a little bit famous for that, and that drove down her approval ratings.
Yeah, they know she's brat.
Okay, they know that she has that awkward laugh because that's viral, right? And they know that she sucked on immigration, okay? That's pretty much all that the average person who doesn't follow politics knew about Kamala Harris, if they knew anything at all. So that means your numbers can move in either direction, depending on how you come out, right? And it could move much faster than Biden's numbers or Trump's numbers, because those numbers are dug in. That's why I was saying Biden's in the 30s a year ago. And I'm like, guys, Biden's not gonna turn around. Everybody knows who Biden is. And he doesn't have the capability. So I'm thrilled where we are now. It's gone exactly as I thought it would. Now, I'm gonna get to the future in a second, but there's two other reasons why Kamala Harris's numbers have gone up. One, she's exciting. Why is she exciting? Because she can speak.
Yeah.
So
can you actually hold that thought?
Right.
Okay, because if you want to hear more of Cenk's analysis on this, you should wait after this clip, because it talks about how she's doing in important key states.
Okay.
Let's watch.
So, this is all national polling, but ultimately it comes down to the Electoral College, and this is Harris versus Trump. These are the northern battleground states. This is all polling conducted since Kamala Harris became the presumptive Democratic nominee, or the very likely Democratic nominee. Look at this. In the Great Lake battleground states, pure toss-ups, +1 in Wisconsin, well within any margin of error. Michigan tied, Pennsylvania tied. We thought these were going to be tight. At this point, they look like they're going to be tight. Perhaps a little bit more interesting with these GOP reaches, where Donald Trump was competitive with Joe Biden. But look now, Minnesota, +6 Harris. Look at New Hampshire, +7 Harris. Maine, +9 Harris. The GOP reaches where they thought they could play against Joe Biden, at this particular point, it doesn't look like they can play against Kamala Harris. It looks like this election is going to be decided here in the northern battlegrounds, and then of course those Sun Belt battlegrounds where we don't have new polling yet, but we'll just have to wait and see. Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina. But it looks like it's going to be much more like the traditional map than it's going to be one of these wide-ranging maps where we're going to have states that put into play that we're not used to. These, at this point at least, these particular states look like the GOP reaches will continue to be GOP reaches.
Now remember, Biden was getting spanked in those battleground states. So this is more good news for Kamala Harris, more bad news for Donald Trump. And so with that in mind, go ahead, Cenk.
Yeah, so people see her and they're like, wow, that's someone who's younger and can make an effective case for Democrats. Oh my God, they're thrilled. First of all, Democrats are thrilled. That moves the numbers for some of the Democrats that were wavering and concerned about Biden. Second of all, for independents, they're like, hey, here's someone who isn't 180 years old. Because remember, Trump is also super old. So that's moving the numbers a little bit. And then she's been good on the campaign trail. So you have a situation where the numbers are ready to move. She does well, and the numbers move up, okay? Good, that's exactly the most plausible scenario. And since she's been good on the campaign trail, the scenario that we have. Now, the reason I say, hold on, don't get too excited. So 2 reasons why. Number 1, yeah, it's nice to have the Democratic states back in the Democratic column. But if you're worried about those, you've already lost the election, right? So when you look at the swing states, there's still toss-ups. And she's going up against Donald Trump, who's very unpopular. So don't celebrate yet, that's point 1. Point 2 is, this race has got a lot more ups and downs in it. It's gonna be a roller coaster ride. I would be shocked if Kamala Harris was so good that she had smooth sailing throughout, never dipped back down and crushed. No, they're gonna find an effective talking point against her. Then they're gonna find another, and then they're gonna find one against her VP nominee. And there's gonna be 3 to 4 big controversies left at least, right? And it'll take a dip and people will panic. Hold everybody, hold. I'll tell you when it makes sense to panic, as I have before. I'll tell you when it makes sense to get excited. And right now, we're back in the ball game, but that's all, just back in the ball game.
Yeah, we went from having an uncompetitive race to now having a competitive race, which is good. That's what you want.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.